Wow. In one of these boxes, I got the whole EX front end. Knock the dust off of it. Thinking about pulling the whole motor out because I want to change my front motor mount. Because I did that back when I was just a little guy. Those brackets should enable us to use all this. 300EX front end, disc brakes, dual A-arms. We'll see. People have been asking about the TRX90, CR85. Well, about time we do it again. Do it a little more proper this time. Let's see what we can come up with, dudes. It was a hell of a bike. I'll drop a clip right here. It's one of my first videos. Motors there, frames out there. About to get to powder coat and sandblast. Shed of dreams right about now. Let's see. Here's the rear end and the axle, the carrier. Here's the front end. Then it looks like there's a box there with parts that I'm gonna need. Let's see here. None of this I plan to use. As a matter of fact, it may be just all that stuff out there. In addition to this axle, we are going to use this axle in the rear tires, all this, but we're not going to use the front end. We have, oh, where's the 300EX front end? It could be in that box, but it must be in that other box, dudes. Let's go see. They're making me a new drag racing, a drag strip over there. It's pretty sweet. Okay, the A-arms 100% aren't in this tote, so we're gonna have to go back and look in a second. But here it is, dudes. TRX90. You got the motor right here. We're gonna throw it back in, confirm the other mount on this thing. Then we're gonna cut this out of here and this out of here. We're gonna make a new one for this and a new one for this. If you guys haven't seen this machine on the channel, dude, I'm gonna drop a link in the video. You need to check it out because I had this thing ripping and riding. And after we went and rode it, I just wanted to make it right because I was in a hurry. Dude, I wanted to take it on a vacation with me, so I got it done in a hurry. And I think we're gonna do it a lot better this time for sure. So get up in there. You guys are gonna be shocked when you see this thing ripping. I'm happy with where the motor was placed before. So I'm just gonna replicate this mount in a much better fashion and this one as well in the rear. So I got the old mount on the bottom put in. I've got the old bracket for the front, and we're gonna go ahead and get this in the right place so that the pipe fits with it, because basically I can't weld the front bracket in, because if I do, the motor will have to be torn down every time to get it out. I don't want it to be like that. I got my old rear mounts that I used bolted up. So I'm gonna look into this front one and see what exactly I had done here. I might have to watch the old video. So I'm gonna go get my metal bender and we're gonna make something like this here. As I got this bad boy metal brake at Harbor Freight on sale. I wanna say it was around 40 bucks. And instead of welding it to a table, I just clamp it to my table when I need it. If I start using this more, I'd bolt it down to the table or maybe even weld it or get another table, but I don't want to give up my welding space. So just clamp her down, dudes. Use it and then be done with it. It's 2 7/8 hopefully-ish between them. It's really close, guys, so that's gonna work for me. So because of this metal brake, I can only bend. That was about as short as I could do it. I'm out here this morning cutting this stuff off. Cut this side off. About to do the other side. It may be tacked underneath in the middle over there. Clean all this up for the new front one. Put it in. Take the engine back out. Cut this one. And go from there. So, got the front mount cut off. Can't even tell it was there, dudes. So, I got this one all squared up. I'll wash my face. Okay. A little larger than I want, but we'll see here. So I've been struggling to try and get these small enough with this thick piece of metal that came with it. And I ended up going with a piece of angle iron on this one. And I got the exact 2 3/4 that I needed for the bottom motor mount. I'm probably going to redo these other ones because they're a little big. I was going to put some spacers in there, but with just a few more bends, I can redo them. I'm going to go ahead and do this bottom one first and then see how I feel. It's pretty good brake. That's a lot safer than that grinder cut I was doing. I haven't used this welder with this material yet, so I'm going to go ahead and practice a little bit with some of this scrap. I did use it on this, but I'm going to go ahead and practice a little bit on some of these scrap pieces. Some of these I bent a little too wide yesterday because I couldn't get them any thinner with the piece of bar stock that they sent with it. So I ended up using some angle iron, and I was able to get the right bends I need on here. So that's going to be the bottom motor mount. This one's going to be the front, and it's going to have this is going to be welded. There's going to be 2 bolts here that bolt it to the frame. Got the engine in one more time. Still a little spicy. Cut these old tabs off. Oh boy. Shoot, I could palm this thing like a basketball, dudes. CR80 motor. Time to rebuild it. And if you ain't cleaned it and you think it's clean, it's probably not. I thought this was clean. Wiped her off. You don't want that getting in your motor. Glove that sucker up, plug the intake in the exhaust. Same thing. You don't want this grime getting in your motor. We're gonna wash this puppy first. Get all the make sure there's no antifreeze in it. Drain the oil. Shoot. Gonna hit her with some compressed air. Get you this 85 I've been stashing away. 250R in pretty good shape. It runs good. It just needs a muffler and probably tune-up and stuff. It's been sitting. Dude. The fuck? Alright guys, motor's clean. I hit it with some compressed air. Now we can get up in there. Pulling the head's easy. It's just these 4 12 mils. Gotta love rebuilding little 2-strokes. Honestly, this motor has compression, guys. Probably don't even need to rebuild it, but I put a Nomura piston in it a few years back. And I ball honed it myself. So, and it ran really good. I mean, so I'm gonna go ahead and put a Wiseco piston in it and get it honed to match. So we're gonna pull the cylinder, we're gonna order the piston, the next size over. We're gonna drop them both off and have them punched out. Always easier with your motor out, but whatever, as long as you're working with the clean workspace. I'm actually gonna go ahead and pull the reeds off first. Careful with those. That was a nice seal. Did you hear that? It's NASCAR style. It only takes like, I don't know, 3 minutes to tear one of these down. If it's on the bench and out of the frame, it's a lot easier. It still looks fine, but look, it's been sitting, guys. Check this out. It's been sitting. You can see some dirt accumulation in there. Look at that. That's why I wanted to go through it. Even with the gloves on and stuff, there's dirt in there and shit from sitting, so that's why you want to rebuild her. That's exactly why right there, so I don't end up starting it up and just sit. Look at that. Pull the cylinder. as you can see, crank damn near looks new. There's no play side to side. No play up and down. Here's all the play side to side. That's everything. Nothing up and down. She good to go. The piston, as you can see, was starting to get worked. That was pretty hard on her, boys. I could feel that for sure. Hopefully my cylinder's good. Might have to go 2 over on this top end. That's getting taken to Pro Max for some head work and for a big bore and some head work. That's gonna be put up for a little while. There's a swing arm. Getting all these pieces out that need to be sandblasted. There's all that tire has nothing to do with it. There's a box of stuff, the shocks for the 300EX. Here's the bracket kit for the conversion. My old rear end and axle, which I'm still using. The 300EX front end. I'm also gonna trim this headlight out and make it work 250R style, boys. Time to get up in here. Gotta get all this stuff tore down so we can get it sandblasted. Here we go. Just gonna take this one apart, this end apart, and then the rear end. Freaking gold. You forget it's a TRX90, you know? So 300EX front end's gonna be all goldable. These going red, and this up, not the axle. This is going black. All this gonna be black, and then all this is gold, baby. A-arms and the swing arm all gold. Oh yeah. Can you eat your own yak, man? Damn, bro. Freaking like new, dude. Chia. My camera don't want to focus for shit. Oh yeah, there we go. Got some in there. I'm gonna send these babies home. Next I am gonna grease the hell out of these little shafts, and I'm gonna put the hubs on. Same thing. Up. There'll be enough for the other two as well. Putting the calipers on. Sure. Got this side put together. Yeah, buddy. Might end up taking those off and blasting them. I haven't decided yet. Happy Monday, dudes. Waiting on these CR parts to come back in. I got the TRX90 carrier. We're gonna get these dirty old seals and bearings out of here and grease everything up real good. And then it's gonna be time to put the brakes on it and put the axle in it. I've got a new set of bearings and seals. Keep in mind this is for a TRX90, not a CR85 or CR80. Also, it's not, you know, the front end of this is a 300EX, but this kit came with everything. So we are gonna get after it here. I wanna say these are the ones for the axle. And the bearings probably gonna be these two large ones right here. We'll find out in a second. First thing I'm gonna do is pull them. So it's got this insert collar in the middle. And I just took this pry bar and pushed it over, hit the bearing, turned it around, hit the bearing until it got flush with the carrier. And then I put it in the vise and just knocked the rest of it out. You guys tell me if we should have run this old bearing. There's that I wasn't beating on. So I got new ones for it. I have a bearing puller, but it does no good unless you can get behind the bearing. So basically, I couldn't use it in this situation because this is butted right up against this and they're the same diameter. I can't get the piece in there that opens up behind it. Now I can on this end though, because I can get behind this bearing since this collar ain't in my way. So I'm sitting here with a 4-pound sledge beating on the thing with the pry bar, and I says to myself, I says, self, get your old extension and 175 PSI on the air hammer. Boy, drove her right out. That was a lot easier. Let's look at some of this goodness right here. We probably could have sent these guys. I mean, they're not that crusty. Most of this is the PB blaster I shot in there, you know. It reacts funny. Sometimes it'll flash rust. You know what I mean? Flash rust because I shot too much PB in there. Now, this sucker's nasty. Damn, y'all need a light to really appreciate the inside of this. Yeah. We're gonna get all of that cleaned out. Look at this shit, guys. We're gonna get all this cleaned out. We're gonna clean off the table. We're gonna get all this shit cleaned out. Then we're gonna install our new bearings and new seals, boys. And tons of grease. So this is the only inner part of the carrier that we have to reuse. I wiped it off real good. Shoot, boys, I'm gonna soak her in this old rust dissolver gel and see what happens. Come on. Just trying to, you know. Oh, by the way, guys, I got a message for you. And it's called send me a lead, for God's sakes. Because I don't want this getting rust stains all over the float. Inside, outside, all around on this bad boy. I kind of boogered up the side with the, you know, with the air hammer. It was probably when I was hammering on it, but it might have been the air hammer. So I cleaned it up with the Dremel. We're about to put in each bearing and each dust seal. I'm gonna put in the bearing and the dust seal on this side. We're gonna put that insert back in out there after we clean it. And we're gonna put the other bearings on, grease them all in the meantime. So I'm gonna clean up my space real quick, red and tacky. So I drove it in flush with the mallet after we greased all behind it and all over it. I'm gonna finish her off with this huge Duralast socket, boys. We got this pretty clean, I would say, compared to before. Guys, you can't use enough with grease. Like, it needs to be all over that and then take up about a gap of that much. All in there, because if they had done it, it wouldn't be all greased. It wouldn't have been all rusty, guys. That sucker got quite a bit of ground we gotta make up with the, between it and the wall. You get a good amount down in deep. Douglas wheels, boy. There it is. 2 chromies. New tires. Get these new tires put on, boy. For all you smokers. Look at that reflection, boys. In case you're wondering what you can't see. Be careful, boy. Sure, boys, got her done. All right, guys, it did me a real solid on the powder coating. Did a good job, and also, look here. This is the guy you want doing your motorcycle stuff. Left my steering stem bearing unclogged. Didn't powder coat over this pivot point. All of the threads are still perfectly usable and intact, not packed full of daggum powder. Very exceptional job, I would say. And this guy, he wants to just hang out. He's a little prick. We're gonna get up in there, dudes. Putting in the steering stem bearing first. So we got the new bearing in. It's all greased. Inside's all greased up real nice. Now I am gonna put in my C-clip. And then I'm going to put on my dust cap here. And after that, steering stem, dudes. Steering stem clamp. We're gonna start working our way forward, guys. After I get the steering stem on, I'm gonna put on this 300EX front end kit, show you guys what that's all about. So I've got this Diamond J Customs 300EX front end conversion kit. Oh no, that's my reeds. But that's what's in here. This is how he ships it. This kit is a couple years old, so maybe he may do stuff different now, I don't know. But basically, let me get all this unboxed and I'll show you what we're dealing with. So guys, I've had this in a box for about a year and a half. This is everything, I suppose. I'm not really super thrilled about how this end shows up. I guess I'll figure it out. And you can jump online, and I believe he has some printable instructions off his website. So I'm gonna go ahead and go print those suckers out. And we're gonna bolt this 300EX front end kit on. It does something like, maybe like, not even close. I was wrong. It does stuff. Stuff happens. It does stuff. Stuff happens. I don't know. But we will figure it out. All right, time to get the instructions. Let's not waste anybody. No, not waste my own time here. It does kind of help. The best line is, we know people hate reading instructions that come with something, so we've compressed the instructions down to a few hints and some good pictures. So if you need more help, feel free to email us. Oh, we sent you city directions. I wonder if it says anything about the bag of bolts. About this bag of bolts, guys. I wonder if it says anything about that in there. Because I don't even know if today is Saturday, but it don't feel like it. Those are tie rod extensions, I believe. Ray going. I want you to divide all this up into even stuff. Like, see that bolt's the same, this bolt's the same. All the bolts that are the same as this, go right there. Get them all the nuts, all the washers. Got it?
Okay.
Good. Got it. God, that's my cubby. So Reagan got all these divided up, and for some reason, he broke this one.
I did not break that.
How did you break that one?
I did not break it.
All right, so guys,
broken.
I got this figured out here, I think. Complete trash instructions. Looked online, found better ones. It actually just found 2 pictures that made more sense. I'll attach it in the video. Jeez, dudes, what a pain in my ass. So I've got these tie rods here, and the kit came with these extensions because they weren't going to reach otherwise, as you can see. So I'm gonna put the extension on one end, put it back on, get it put in evenly so I can adjust it. I'm gonna do the other side, and then we'll put them all together and adjust them at once. It's got the 300EX rear shock on it and the little bracket to make it work. And then up front, dug me some Alcas out, boys. Got the 300EX A-arms on there, the steering stem all in. Kind of got the tie rods adjusted, but I'm gonna have to wait till I set it on the ground to really get a good look because these shocks may compress a little bit. I'm about to get this carrier cleaned up, get it put on, get the axle put in, got the brakes in and the new bearings in and the hub back on. So I'm gonna put it all back together tomorrow. Should have a roller by, I don't know, sometime in the morning, should have me a roller. Pretty neat tool I got on Amazon or eBay, I don't really remember, to be honest. Basically, you got here all your metrics and standards and the different sizes, like you get your M8 125, 1.0, 1.5, all the way up to your M12s. You can thread them in 2 holes to determine the pitch of the threads, and then you can also thread a bolt in it to determine the pitch of the threads on your bolt. So I take a picture of that, and I know what I need when I go down to Ace Hardware. So I've had to take this bolt and chop quite a bit of it off with the cutoff wheel. I hit it with the file a little bit, trying to even it up, and that didn't quite get her to thread in. So I have a threader here, a nut that'll cut threads, and it's the same thing, 125. So I just had to get the top matched. So now I gotta cut 3 more of them and do that. But they didn't have any bolts short enough for the carrier, and I don't want them sticking out. Shit, taking these and chopping them down. If y'all wanna know how strong them bolts are, them grade 8s, just go ahead and try cutting you one. Try cutting you one. Just make sure you ain't got nothing to do that afternoon. Guys, about to do the front brakes. So I've got these 2-inch, I believe, spacers and these JD, what is it, Diamond J Customs adapters there, so I can run a much larger pattern wheel. And I've got my back tires out there. I've got my new front ones over there. About to get all that put on, but first I'm gonna do the front brakes. That way I have more room. So I'm gonna get after these right now. So I got these old brake lines off of this. I'm gonna pull these and probably sandblast them, maybe paint them. I'm not gonna use the old calipers, I have new ones. And I'm gonna clean out the inside of these lines with some brake clean and a little bit of compressed air. And then I'm gonna clean out just try and get them to be black again. Get some of this grime and stuff off of them, making it a roller. Once that's done, I can put the tires on the wheels and get it off the stand. Well, fellas, I'm bumming a little because it's looking like next week on my top end parts, I'm gonna go ahead and take this bottom end and put it in the machine so I can get some other stuff done and try and get ahead of some of this. And I'll just have to assemble the top end and the damn frame, which I don't ever like doing, but it's not hard on these little two-strokes. Hell, they got one ring, it'll slip right on. So appreciate you guys. I'm gonna throw this damn bottom end in here, get the chain on, put a new sprocket on it, new chain, get the fix the chain slider we're gonna make work for it, and be able to get a few other things done to it while we wait. As I threw my throttle cable on, we had to make so we can run a thumb throttle on this nibby. Got a steel braided cable. I've got the motor in. I made a rookie mistake last night, boys, and I cut the chain one link too short, if you can believe that. And, well, so the only good news is that the sprocket, this is my 15, so I have a 14 and 13 as well, so I think I can use the chain on one of those. I was gonna have to use 2 chains to really go through all the gearing, but I got the motor bracket bolted in there, and the mid one that's welded in, bolted up. Same thing with this little bracket in the rear. And wife came out here a minute ago and painted this for me again. Ooh, just took some of the Rust-Oleum that I used when I painted these hubs right here. And I painted the front hubs. And I sprayed some of it in the lid. And then just got a little paintbrush and painted inside of that Honda logo. My wife did, I mean. So I'm gonna pop that on. I might find some fancier bolts for this, some 8 mils. I'm gonna get a couple other things done right now, and then I'm gonna show you where I'm at, guys. So this is gonna be part 1 of part 2. Part 2 is gonna be it finished and me ripping it. Get up in there, boys. I appreciate you for watching. I'll give you a little look at some of these parts that are thrown onto it, and then what the plans are for part 2. So I had some old bolts from a blaster kit. And actually, guys, maybe you'll think this is cool to hear or not. This is a 26 millimeter Banshee carburetor. David got a pair of those a while back for a Banshee build and then didn't end up using them. I knew I'd use them, so I just paid him back for them and kept them. And I mean, it's like fate, you know, perfect. Got the cable working perfectly. Not always fun making a custom cable. Let's talk 300 EX front end kit, guys. So you seen earlier in the video, we're putting it together. You've got some brackets here. You know what, I'm gonna give you some directions because there's not many good ones online. The front end, the 2 forward arching brackets go on for your lower A-arms. The back end, the 2 backward arching ones go on. You've got these clamps. The front leg is longer than the back, and they clamp on. Feel free to just rewind this at any point if you guys buy one of these kits. These L-shaped brackets, the wider portion faces out, and this piece goes across the top to connect them. This piece goes across the front to support these, and there's a flat piece that goes in the back. Then along with the kit, you get or depending on which kit you get a link to use the 300EX shock, which I don't know how this is gonna work. Hopefully, I guess downward pressure and the tightness of everything will keep it from going up, but it looks like I could turn this into about a 10-inch lift in no time. I guess the chain tension probably has something to do with that too. What else is aftermarket on here? I got the frame powder coated at DFW Coatings in Crum, Texas. The steering stem I got powder coated about a year ago from another guy. We'll just leave it at that. I got some Pro Taper Sport bars on there. These are 300EX front brakes. So you get a disc brake conversion when you convert over to this from your drums. I got them all bled. There was a mount clamp for the 300EX I used here. I may end up drilling a hole in the stem here and putting in another bolt, but it's solid. And I ran this behind here, and I may end up working out a clamp for this as well, because it's got some movement to it. So I was thinking if I I'm gonna go get a piece of pipe, you know, that's like outside diameter, maybe what, 1/2 inch, and then I'm gonna you know, to make some spacers, kind of like what we got. Let's see, I think I used some of them for something. Oh, right here, to make some sleeves like that to go over a bolt, so that I can make a bracket for that. And I may need one for my radiator bracket, because last time, guys, I just steel zip tied the freaking radiator to the frame. I was ruthless. I wanted to ride, so I did it. I got me a Pro Taper gold chain. I've never had issues with them breaking. The front sprockets I use are Sunstar because I've got a 428 conversion. The CR80 motor was a 420, so you will have to get a 428 sprocket if you want to do this because the back end is a 428 on the TRX90. I've got some more nuts for those. They were on the hub when I painted it, so I'm gonna put some fresh nylocks on it in a day or two. I got me a weak chain tensioner off of Amazon, and I got all the hardware. I got that at Ace Hardware and cut it up. Guys, I got the 300EX Douglas wheels. I think they're 10x7, and then a 21x7, which is the smallest tire I can find for this. This is your typical sport quad setup. It's just the tires are closer together, so the front ones look a little big to me right now. Although when I set it on the ground, everything was perfectly level. These Elka shocks I've had a long time, and they're for a LTZ 250. I hope that's right, LTZ 250. The Suzuki semi-automatic little sport quad. The guy bought it for his wife. I sold it to a buddy of mine, and he wasn't valuing the shocks. So I told him, he said the Chinese shocks fit. I told him, all right, bring me them back, and I'll use them on something eventually. I've had them about 2 years sitting around. The rear wheels are Douglas as well. And I've got some adapters there. And then to the Honda wheel pattern, to the larger Honda wheel pattern. Smallest back wheels and tires I could find. I painted the swing arm gold, and I painted the A-arms gold. I painted the hubs red, and that brake hub. I painted the carrier, which needs to be wiped off. It's a little smudgy from installing the chain. I painted this guard. I tried to put new hardware everywhere I had it. The kit comes powder coated for the 300EX front end kit. We made the mounts, guys. You can see in the video, and this back tire's flat. Need to beat it. But I've got the plastic for it. I've got everything for it besides the top end at this point. So that's what I'm waiting on. I'm about to route my clutch cable. I'm gonna start putting electronics on this thing, I guess. So I welded in a little piece over here that I'm gonna have to kind of grind down a little bit because it goes to the, your coil sits between here and here and grounds, your CDI mounts here, and then it fits perfectly. It's a short coil, but it fits perfectly on the machine. Whew, from a box of parts, guys. This was sitting in my damn shed for a while. Actually took it apart probably, a year ago. And it's been sitting in maybe a year and a half ago. And it's been sitting in boxes waiting. I planned to get it powder coated, but the last guy that was doing it for me was kind of hosing me. So I held off till I found somebody else. And this guy, not one bolt hole. Look, he didn't. Another guy would just powder over this whole brake thing, and I would have to freaking take a Dremel to it. He would powder in all the, it was like he's used to powder in fence posts or something. So he would powder coat all my threads up. I haven't had to retap one set of threads. And this guy said he'll let you ship parts to him. So contact him, DFW Coatings, Crum, Texas. You can ship him stuff. He'll ship it back and get her done. Sorry it has to be a 2-part video. I wish it didn't have to be that way. I've got a big red 1-part video coming at you soon. I am gonna do this Tri-Z in a couple parts. I've got the motor out of it over there. It has to come completely apart to get everything out of the bottom end, make sure the crank's good. So it's all tore down now. There was a couple others we were doing, but I can't think off the top of my head. I may also switch up my radiator to a little bit wider one. Sweet chain breaker. You just thread her on there. And shoots the pin out the other side. Let's see if she'll work, boys. Okay. Boom. Perfect. Now I'm gonna get the master in it, and I'm gonna tension it real quick. Hold it. All right. Got the chain on proper, dudes. So that's good. I have a chain slider right there that I'm gonna try and make work, but I need to make a spacer for it. Promax actually just called me and said Monday afternoon it'll be ready for sure. So I plan to go there Monday afternoon. I'm gonna put my brakes on, my brake cable, my brake lever for the back. And then next video, guys, you're gonna get to see her ripping. So be sure and like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you wanna see a little bit of what this was capable of. I built it a long time ago. The video's on the channel, or if you look up TRX90 CR85 video anywhere, you'll find it, guys. We appreciate you.